Hello guys, this is Hellfish with a replay cast for the Object 430 version 2, one of the two Soviet Tier 9 medium tanks. Now what do you need to know about the Object 430 version 2? Well, it's pretty similar to the T-54. You have the same gun, you have similar armor profile, but there are a couple of differences. The 430 version 2 doesn't have a fully traversable turret. You can only traverse 90 degrees to each side, which is obviously a major disadvantage of this tank. You also have a turret mounted in the rear. I would not say that a rear mounted turret is a real disadvantage, it's just a different playstyle. It's harder to come around the corner and get a shot in, but it's better for side scraping. Now the 430 also has bad gun depression, which is quite a significant disadvantage, especially in this sort of terrain we are fighting over here. Lots of hills and hull down fighting, but you get better armor in return for this disadvantage. The turret is a little bit stronger, harder to penetrate right next to the gun, where high penetration guns can just cut through the T-54. And also the hull armor is a little bit stronger with the very good angles on the upper plate, as we will see in this game. You also get 50 HP more, which is pretty nice. Now, right now we're just trying to use the bushes over here, stay hull down, hold this flank. Looking at the map, this is going to be a pretty tough fight. More than half of the enemy team is on this flank. I get a nice shot into the side of the T-54, he poked out way too far. And now you can see me struggling with the gun depression. I have to actually reverse here to get a shot at this E1. Doesn't hit, unfortunately. But this is what playing the 430 version 2 is like. It's a constant struggle with gun depression and staying hull down. But if you can manage to stay hull down, the turret is really good. One of the best turrets on tier 9, especially for a medium tank. Now this flank is crumbling. It's already 0-3 and the enemy is pressuring us. I'm just trying to stay alive and hold this flank from getting overrun. But again, I'm just constantly struggling with the gun depression. And I have to just try to use every little terrain feature to get some shots in. Like right here, 1375, quite a waste of a heat shell. But we can make a shot. Unfortunately I can't finish him off, and he gets to safety. And now this is what I was afraid of the most. I get hammered by the main RT. The turret is damaged and I've lost almost all my health. So now I'm 2 or 3 shot depending on what hits me. And the game is not looking good at all. 1-4. I've done a little bit of damage, but this is not a good game so far. Almost dead already. And we are about to lose this flank and the city isn't doing much better. Now this WZ, I don't know what his idea was, but he just basically suicides. But it's 2-6, so I guess he thought he could afford to suicide. The enemy is still closing in, increasing the pressure. And we are hopelessly outnumbered at this point. Fortunately, the T-54 E1 overcommits, and I can take him out. And now the T-54 wants my head. Again, gun depression problems. We trade 1 shot each. He's a 1 shot. I could in theory survive a shot, but I really don't want to risk it. So now I'm just trying to get a shot at this T-54, and I can actually manage to do it without getting shot back. Again by reversing to get the gun depression. And now it doesn't look so bad anymore. Only low tiers left. And I should be able to clean up this flank pretty easily. I'm going back to the AP rounds, since with the low tiers ahead I really don't need 330 penetration. And this is where the hull armor really proves valuable. After taking out the artillery, I bounced 2 shells, probably one from the 1375. run from the TVP. And this guy just has very little chance of penetrating me here. The hull armor on the 430 is really excellent for a medium tank. Can't ask for much more. Unfortunately, while we are winning this flank, our team has just lost the city. So now it's 3 versus 4. And it's not looking too good, with all our team being heavily damaged. And the E75 still being on almost full HP, as we will find out in just a second. Now I expect the tanks from the city to push down towards our cap, so I'm going back and I simply want to defend. The Lorraine is charging in, spotted by the T-54E1, and unfortunately the T-54E1 gets killed. Now let me pause the replay right here. As you might have noticed, I've just switched to an HE shell, although I was already almost half through the reload of another heat shell. If you look carefully, the Lorraine has 369 health points, and my heat or AP shells do 320 damage, so I cannot one-shot the Lorraine. I'm on 327 hit points, so he doing 300 damage per shot wouldn't one-shot me either, but he has an autoloader and I don't. So with the AP or heat shell loaded, unless I get really lucky and high roll for quite a lot, I would die here. He can just shoot me 3 times before I can reload the next shell. So I'm going for a high explosive shell here. That has 50 penetration and the Lorraine has, I think, 40 hull armor. But the high explosive shell does 420 damage, so this will one-shot the Lorraine if I can manage to penetrate. And this really is my only chance here. So let's see how this works out. The Lorraine is actually bouncing his first shot, he didn't aim properly. And I penetrate his butt with the high explosive shell, taking him out. I'm pretty sure I would have died here if it wasn't for that high explosive shell. Now I got a bit lucky with the bounce. I probably still would have survived though if you pinned that shell. Although it was really close with my reload in the end. Should have loaded that high explosive earlier. Now it's 2 versus 3. And we can still do this. But I'm on really low HP and I cannot afford a shot from any of those tanks really. E75 will one-shot me for sure. Even T29 might one-shot me. If he just rolls a little bit high, so I don't want to take that risk. I'm not really decided what I want to do at this point. I still expect the enemy to go down the 1-2 line towards our cap. So I'm just trying to use this wreck, the super Pershing, to get some cover. In case the enemy should approach somewhere over here. But I see my teammate, T-54, playing really aggressive, going to the other side of the lake. And I have to back him up. I expect he will spot enemies pretty soon. I just want to sit on the other side of the lake here and snipe to support him. So he really plays aggressive there. Takes quite a risk. But it will sort of pay off, at least for me that is. As we will see in just a second. Now the problem here is draw range. I can't really see much further than the other side of the lake. T-54 is actually out of draw range now. And I need to get closer if I want to support him. My original plan is to drive along this side of the lake, but then the E75 gets spotted. And now I just have to get closer so I can support my teammate. E75, still almost full HP, is charging straight towards our T-54. I have the heat rounds loaded again, so I can pen this guy. First shot fired somewhat blind, unfortunately doesn't connect. I aim more carefully for the follow-up shots. Easy penetration into his sight. He keeps charging after our T-54. And I know our T-54 is pretty much doomed here. So for me it is just about killing that E75 as quickly as possible. He's still going after the T-54, which gives me easy shots into his sight. Now our T-54 is dead, but the E75 is still spotted for a while. So I just need to kill this guy with the next shot. He's facing straight towards me, and that means easy penetration. The upper plate on the E75 is actually not that strong, so if you don't angle the tank, it's a pretty easy penetration with the heat shell of the 430 version 2, also T54 and all the other 100mm guns pretty much. Now the 1375 shot me in the butt there, but he is still pretty far away, so he doesn't connect his other shots. I'm asking my teammates for the HB of the remaining tanks in chat. I actually shot the 1375 at the start of the game, so I should know if I had paid any attention. As it turns out, both tanks are actually one-shots, and now I'm on the hunt. I'm a one-shot too, at least for the T29, but I want to win this game. There are 5 minutes left, and I don't really feel like sitting in the bush for the rest of the game and then get a draw or something like that. I always try to play for the win, since there's absolutely no benefit from drawing a game. So I'm on the hunt now, I'm trying to find them, and if you play like this, it is really important that you try to get a jump on the enemy. You need to surprise them before they surprise you. That's how you have to win these games, how you have to approach this. Be careful, close the distance, and then get the jump on your enemies and kill them quickly. I'm just trying to spot a little bit, since I have no idea where the enemies went. It's quite a while since they were spotted the last time, so I'm trying to always stay close to some cover in case I get spotted, so I can retreat quickly. Now I have optics equipped on my 432, which is pretty helpful, especially in a late game situation like this. Still trying to spot the enemy, and there is the T29. I only have a pretty poor snapshot. I take it, it doesn't connect. Wasn't well aimed, but I also didn't have much time to make that shot. I didn't get spotted when shooting, but it sort of tipped the T29 off from which direction I would attack. The shell coming in at him. So now I just want to close the distance, and I actually expect the T29 to keep going along like this. So I just want to pop over the railroad and shoot him in the side or in the rear. The T29 wasn't that stupid though. He probably saw the shell coming in, and he thought that must have been fired from somewhere here, so he thought I would come in like that. And he already turned around and pre-aimed. I had no chance to attack him like that. He would have had an easy shot into the lower plate, and while the hull armor on this tank is good, it's not that good. And I'm a one-shot, so I cannot take that risk. So now I have to reset the fight, get unspotted, and try to approach from an angle he's not expecting me to come from. So I'm trying to sneak around the water here, stay as low as possible so I don't get spotted. He's probably still aiming in this general direction, so I'm going around. I can surprise him, Spirit isn't facing me, get an easy shot in, kill him. Now the 75 is going for me, but he can't really hope to penetrate me frontally. He's a one-shot, I take him out and win the battle. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. You can also check us out on Twitch and Facebook, where we do regular giveaways. Links in the video description. Thanks for watching.